I'm very excited today to showcase one of the most magical capabilities we have in declarative agents. My name is Sébastien. I'm a PM on the Copilot Extensibility team. And today we're going to discuss about how you can build an ecosystem of agents, how you can use the agents you've built inside your organization to leverage them and put them to work within other agents. So we're going to talk about connected agents today using that agent ecosystem. So let's go and talk a little bit. Today will be a little bit more slides because you're going to see we're just basically leveraging all of these capabilities. So you'll see how kind of easy you can think about how to make it happen. So in the first 5 sessions, we basically built our onboarding agent. We built an HR onboarding agent that covers a lot of the key capabilities that live within declarative agents. We talked about the instructions, the conversation starters, ways to generate capabilities, grounding on SharePoint, Teams, the web, email, people. We talked about API plugins, MCP plugins, and we went into more details around some of the disclaimers, the behavior overrides, some of the environment variables, some of the lifecycle hooks inside our Agents Toolkit project. But today we're going to compose. We're going to basically leverage multiple agents we might have created exactly the same way we've done that, or we might have created them using Agent Builder, and we're going to compose an agent that will be able to tap into special knowledge that all of these agents have under the hood. So one of the biggest issues you're going to hit as you're going to build agents is you're going to want to have that super agent, that one agent that does it all. But one of the things we need to think about is when you're building agents that do too much, sometimes they're going to get lost. They're going to get a little bit in a mode where it's going to try its best, but the scope is so large that it's going to be really hard. So the agent might reach for the wrong tool or the wrong capability because they're overwhelmed. They might even shallow answers on very, very deep topic because there's so many grounded knowledge in there that it's really, really hard. It might give you some generic things, especially on our onboarding agent, where it might be like, hey, those troubleshooting steps or whatever, it's not going to be enough for them. But also, it's not going to be able to do a lot of all the great things. So it's going to be okay, but it's definitely not going to be great. So how do we solve that? Well, engineering has solved that a long time ago with something called microservices, where we used to have, for example, for this case, one big agent for everything. Now, what if we were decomposing it into multiple agents, multiple specialist agents that are very specific in their needs, in their answers, in their grounding sources, but can be composed with one master or one, what we love to call them crew leaders. It's way simple to manage because also multiple teams can be owner of these. For example, maybe you're going to have an HR benefits agent. You're going to have an IT setup or IT support agent. Why would they live together? Makes no sense. But as an onboarding employee, you might want to be able to tap into these too. Also, there's a strong limit in declarative agents around 8,000 characters worth of instructions. Well, now you will be able to split that load across multiple agents to make sure that every single agent is focused to their task. And now you're going to be able to use multiple teams. So it's good. You can definitely start with a monolith, start with one agent and make it grow. But at some point, rethink your infrastructure, rethink your architecture, and then split when the quality starts degrading. Introducing the worker agent property. As part of the declarative agent manifest, you are now able to inject worker agents. Those are connected agents that your main agent will be able to delegate to. We only support one single nesting of agents. So if an agent is connecting to another agent that would also be connecting to those agents, we're not going to reach out to these other agents as of now. It's something we're thinking about, but it could create something very weird on on the long run. So for now, you can connect to up to 10 different worker agents just by specifying this in here. And then you have as many, like up to 10 agents where you only have to provide that very specific ID that you're doing. Very simple. Don't have like there's not a lot to do. You can instruct your agent to take advantage of these work agents, but we're also going to do that automatically. And we're going to see how we're going to do that in a second. So first, the agents that you're connecting with need to be the same tenant or need to be public agents. So it needs to be within your organization. It needs to also be available to the user that uses it. So if you're creating a network of agents, but you don't necessarily have access to an agent, not going to break. It's just not going to use this agent for its grounding. It's super transparent. We're going to tell you when the content is coming from another agent, and in the debug pane, you're going to also see the entire conversation going between your main agent and the sub agent. Think about it. We're just taking something, we're recreating a prompt, and we're sending it to the sub agent that will then answer back, and we're going to use that context into the response. You're going to have full independent config, so each agent will have its own set of instructions, capabilities, knowledge, and so on. Permissions are fully respected, and as I said, everybody is owner of their own agent, meaning that you can really scale the maintenance of an ecosystem of agents using multiple teams, which is really, really cool. So you're going to build this. We're going to build a specialist agent, and I'm going to go back to code. And that's right now. I basically built it as a multi-agent repo structure. I did some changes in our repo to support this. Where now we're going to have on top an agents folder where we're going to have 3 different agents. Let me go here and let me show you and zoom in a little bit. So you're going to have that benefits advisor, that HR onboarding buddy, which is the one that we've been building since the beginning, and this IT support. So let's go see these 2 agents and how they changed. Well, nothing really changed here, but it's a fully new agent with its own name, its own description. Name and description are key here. Think about it. The super agent or the agent that actually will delegate the work to one of its worker agent needs to know what they can do. So the name and the description are key, but also the conversation starters. Conversation starters here are used to support scenarios. So if it identifies that there's a scenario that they can work with because of the conversation starter, it's going to prioritize sending the query to that agent. And then just regular capabilities here. We have all of that right here. It has 2 capabilities, one which is grounded in OneDrive and SharePoint, one which is going to use Code Interpreter to do some math calculations. Same thing for our IT support, right? Basically exactly the same thing, very simple. Conversation starters, the same capabilities. Nothing big here, but that's really where we're gonna be able to take these and like expand on their work, expand on their capabilities to bring more maybe in the future. But for now, we're just grounding them into the knowledge. And then when we look at our HR onboarding buddy, which is the same file we had, we removed a couple of endpoints, so we don't have the same URLs we used to have. Now we only have the onboarding documents that are available here, but we do have 2 worker agents that are using our environment variables that have been set here. For example, this guy here and this guy here. And that's it. That's the only thing you need. Now, the top agent will be able to call into any of the sub agent. And that's it. It's going to do that all automatically, all without you having to specifically say, oh, for this request, use this agent. No, we're going to do all of that just based on how you configure the agent. So that is really, really, really powerful. And it removes a lot of burden on that crew leader agent that now just has to orchestrate versus do all of the instructions and grounding sources and capabilities and plugins and so on and so forth. So let me go back to our slides for a second. If I can find them. I think I found them. So we have our two IT support, our benefits agent, very, very simple agent that we have there. So let me show you here. So what is going to happen here is when I'm going to say my laptop won't connect to the external monitor if I try two different cables. Well, the first thing it's going to say as you're onboarding, it's going to say, oh, wait a second. We are talking here about something that talks about IT support, external monitors, and as part of the description and the conversation starters and the context that it has access to, it's going to automatically know, wait a second, this is something I can call, and we'll actually call the sub agent, the worker agent, with a very specific prompt. It's going to craft the prompt on your behalf, and you're going to get the full answer back that is coming from that one. In this case, this is a known issue, blah, blah, blah. All the answers coming up here. I don't know what is happening here. It's weird. I'm trying to click, and it does not click. Same thing for benefits, giving you a this here. Now let me show you a little bit of a demo on how this works. I see there's a question in the chat. That is a very good question. What happens if a sub agent that needs data is created by another agent? Think about it. You're creating maybe a claim. You're getting back the claim, then you need to assign it to, I don't know, a contractor. Well, the orchestrator agent will be able to identify these scenarios and will be able to regroup all that information, do the call sequentially, and make it happen. The top agent will be able to actually go through one to the next. So if you're building with API plugins or an MCP servers, that is a great scenario because you will be able to leverage the content that comes from the response of one, then send it to as a request for the next one. Very, very powerful capabilities right there. It's not just using a deterministic workflow. It's really doing all of that. So let me go here. Let me go in here. Let me do, no, not here. That's the wrong tenant. So many tenants. So let me go here. Let me start a new conversation with my HR onboarding buddy. And now I'm going to just say, hey, you know what? Or let me, yeah, let's do IT setup here. So what is going to happen here? It's going to automatically identify what are the connected agents, and it's going to use that data to bring it back to me. And you're going to see all these agents. And as it goes on, let me show you a screenshot of a great example of this. Let me just go here and show you the screenshot I took a little bit earlier. So for example, I'm here in my ZavaCare, which is another example I have, my ZavaCare agent that is connected in this case to multiple agents. And in this case, you can see that the ZavaCare said, okay, so I need to create an urgent inspection that is calling another MCP endpoint. And in that case, what it does some retrieval of that information and automatically will then send it to a bunch of agents. And when it comes back, you're going to see the pill, the citation from the Zava claim. Zava claims is another agent, and that agent is what brought all of that information, and it automatically assigned a pending initiation on that data. So like when you're working with complex scenarios, that is a good example of how things can work together, and gives also the user full transparency on, by the way, it's not your agent that did something, it's a sub agent that actually did it. Now, if I go back to my thing here, you're going to see that it was able to find all the information based on the IT setup guide that is in SharePoint, was able to do all of that. And all of that is not coming from my HR content. It's all coming from my IT agent that is automatically connected that you can see right here. So all the questions I have will automatically be routed to the right ones, create that beautiful answer back, and then you're in good shape. So nothing really to show, but just to give you a lot of potential, because now you're going to be able to scale your agent ecosystem like this. Let me go back. How can you make the agent show references to where it found the information? It should have, in that case, I'm on an early build of Copilot, might be why it's not showing, but it's going to show you not only the agent, but also the file where it found the information from the agent. So that should be by default. So that way it's all transparent for the end user. So now when to use these connected agents, right? Well, first, when you want to do questions that are well served by documents, create specialized agents. Another team that owns the expertise. Agent scope becomes too broad. You want to reuse a capability across multiple agents, or your deep domain expertise with specialized tools. Like, you really want to be able to delegate all of that. And it's really built for reuse. You need to think about building atomic agents across your ecosystem to make sure that any rich agent can tap into specialized agents. And this is really where you enable people to create agents based on what is available in the organization. Sometimes your agent that does one thing could be reused across tens or dozens of different agents. And that's really where building for reuse is a key value that you can have using these declarative agents. So we now have our connected, like our full complete agent. We were able to go from the persona to the capabilities, the knowledge, the actions, advanced configs, and now a network, an ecosystem of agents. In the next session, we're going to talk about testing and debugging. Until then, you can go and try it out now, straight onto my repo. Right here, all the code is already pushed over here, and you're going to be able to start playing with it.